Welcome to another episode of Guardians of Axum Coding Extravaganza. So it's been a hot day in the house. We've had lots of heating on, all the radiators have been on because now they're all fixed, the boiler's fixed, it's super hot. So I went and bought some lovely tea, which may have not being the best drink to bring, considering it's so hot in here. Maybe I'll have to drink lots of water instead. But it's Chinese tea, and it feels like it'll keep me awake. I do feel a bit more awake today, which is good, despite having these bright lights shining in my eyes from the light setup for the green screen. Okay, let's do a recap of where we are. Just set my windows up. Let's do it. Right. So, bring out the notes. A nice pink, purple kind of colour there to write the notes on. Actually, there's a debate I'm having with my wife about if one of us is colourblind, because the colour that I see seems not to be the colours that she sees, and I think I'm right, obviously, and she thinks she's right. So yeah, but I think more of the guys on my side seem to agree with my colour perception, so that's why I think I'm right. And I haven't met anyone yet who thinks my wife's right, so maybe I'm right. Okay, so let's bring the app up. So let me find a new browser window, and let's turn off notifications, because the last thing I want is all my information popping up on the screen in the middle of live streaming. Here we go. So local host 3 million, no, 300,000. Right, am I logged in? I am not logged in. Let's log in. I really must fix that enter and login because it's driving me crazy. Right, so last time we got to adding a My Collection. So a full recap then. We created Admin Paddle, and on admin you can create a card. You give it the name, the deck theme, the rarity, description, and then the stats, mana, health and attack. That's the basic stats we have. And then added this extra thing to generate random cards so that we can just populate the admin panel with some cards for testing. And this is a list of all the cards we currently have in the database. And these cards are like templates, really. So every time someone purchases a pack, they're going to get 5 cards in a pack. So here we've got rare, epic, legendary, insane, and also we've got common. So when you come to purchase a pack, we guarantee 1 card of the type, of the rarity type, and then the other 4 cards can be any type. But we did some probability work to make sure that the probabilities line up with the different types of rarity. So when you buy this cheapest rare pack, you won't have much chance of getting an insane card. It's not ruled out. There is a chance, but it's a very, very tiny chance. And the same setup for the rest of these rarities. So once you've bought a pack, you then have the option to go and open the pack. But I think in this prototype we won't do pack opening. We'll just end up on My Collection and we'll just show a list, very similar to this list here, of all the cards that you own. Well, actually, I'm debating between a list and like a grid with cards in it that you could maybe use to drag across. I think I'll go with list to start with, actually, because it'll be simpler. And I think it can also just drag a whole like row into another row in order to build decks. We'll get to that. So today is all about my collection. The other thing I wanted to do as a tech sort of cleanup is replace rarity in deck with enums, and also handle failure in the purchase packs. But I think we'll get to that a bit later. We'll come back and do a second sweep on that kind of thing. There's a few other things that we're looking at here. Write some more specs. Oh yeah, put sample on the Rethink DB driver. Admin panel. Yeah, assign a quantity, bulk assign basically. That's just like a nice to have though. It's just so when you come in here and you're testing and you create a new user and you're like, oh, I really need to have these specific cards in the collection, then you could do that here. So, my collection. Where is my code editor? I use Atom mainly because it has the syntax highlighter for Mint and for Crystal. Gomec. Add to this window and discard state. Yes, please. Oh, Atom drives me crazy with its 1 million welcome messages. It's like so friendly. So every time I open it, it's like welcome, welcome, welcome. I think my record of opening Atom and having about 10 welcome windows pop up, 10 welcome tabs pop up, something like that. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe it was like 5, but it really felt like 10. Public source. So I believe that we did write the functions that will pull back all the data. So I'll just have a quick check. In repos, user card repo. Yeah, get all cards. So we do have a way to bring back an array of cards that belong to the user. So that's great. So the next step is to get all these cards and display them here on my collection. And that seems like a good thing to do. So like I said before, I'll probably put a table here, and then on the right hand side I'll probably put like a list of decks. So we don't currently have any functionality to do with decks, but we'll get there. So the first step is my collection. I move these notes out the way and let's just get going. Yeah, so I was saying before, I use Atom mostly because it has the nice syntax highlighting for Crystal and for Mint. And the Mint one, I have to say, I did write that one, so that's one reason why I'm using it. There is another one for Mint I've written, but I think it's only for VS Code, and I prefer Atom to that at the moment. And the support really is about the same, so it's no big gap. If the other one starts picking up with support with auto-completion and things like that, then I might switch to the other one. But right now this is doing the job for me. Right, get all cards. So let's add another endpoint. So we've got a get current user, we've got posting, we've got deleting, get API. So it feels like it should go around about here. I'm going to call it get API user No, let's call it my collection. API collection. We can refine that later. So you have to be logged on, and then here we'll have the user card repo, and we're going to find all the cards for that user. So which is get all cards with the user ID. User ID. So sometimes I forget that I've got this blue Yeti mic, which is like on a boom arm and kind of sits down here, and I have to configure the sound so that it's going through the Yeti mic. And sometimes I forget where the sound's coming from. So like if I'm on a hangout or something, I'll have left on my Yeti mic instead of switching it to my headset, and everyone on the other side of the call will be like confused. They'll be like, "Kingsley, you sound like a radio presenter." It's because I've got this awesome mic. Yeah, on that note, actually, I was watching back some of these streams I've done, and yeah, they are quite hard to watch. There's a lot of and and coughing and rubbing of the face and things like that. So I've got to try and improve my broadcasting skills for sure. Okay, UI page, new current, right, so let's call it cards. Seems fine. That might work. Let's go try it out. Let's restart this one. There we go. Where's my browser? Here it is. So let's go API collection. Looks good. So now let's put a table on the screen. So I think it's going to look very like the admin table that we had down at the bottom here. Render card. Render view. Here's the input. And then that's all the input. Render card table. Okay, let's borrow that. I think it'll be slightly different. The actions might be slightly different, but in general it's going to look pretty similar. So we might be able to reuse something there, but for now I think we'll just keep it simple. So name, deck, rarity, description, mana, health, attack. Probably there isn't many actions you could do right now, so maybe we'll just take that off for now. And what was this last one? Probably for the select. I'm going to just ditch these last two for now. Render card, that seems something useful as well. Here it is. Let's borrow that. Component, my collection. Drop that here. Drop that here. Oh, wrong beautifier. Oh, it did beautify something in some kind of way. No need for a button here. Or what's this checkbox? We don't need that either. Let's get rid of those two. That looks to be what we need. So what's this saying? Edit card. What edit card? My collection, mint, line 91. Yep, it's gone. Alright, success. So now we need to fetch the cards. So we'll just do a fun component did mount. Promise. Returns a promise. Let's move my T over a bit. Okay, so this guy basically is just going to go and load all the cards onto some state, which will live. I think I need to make a new store for this, in the same way that we have an admin store. Yeah, and the page container, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing as this, but for collections. Collection store.mint. Collection store, it's going to take a collections page, page container, set page container. Looks good. So collections page. Where was cards page coming from? Oh, I see. So this page content is an array of cards. So I think I need to rename this page to be cards page. And the page content cards array of card probably needs to be called admin cards or something, because this array of card, well actually that is probably fine. It's just I need a different record for this one. Or could I reuse it? I think I could reuse it. Yeah. I'll just try and use it for now. So, load cards, success response, error response. We need that. API collection, and then success and error. Success. Another language. Welcome, Satan 3. This is Mint, which is written in Crystal. It's a front-end framework based on Elm and React. I don't know if you've heard of Elm, but it's a functional programming language which aims to bring functional programming to the front end, and basically it compiles to JavaScript. So there's quite a few of those popping up now. I used to use Elm for quite a while, but it's very restrictive and it's opinionated, so you're only allowed to do what the language author feels that you should do. And there were some things I just wanted to do, and the language was like, no, you will not do these things. And I was like, I must find a way to do these things. But there was sadly not many ways I could do it without rewriting the Elm compiler. And then what was worse is the next version of Elm, they took away a lot more of the freedom, because you could just write JavaScript straight in Elm at one point. So this is why I like Mint. It's not plain JavaScript, but you still get to have some functional control, and you can just drop straight into JavaScript if you need to. That's one plus point. Of course, the downside is nobody's heard of Mint. No one has any idea what it is and how it works. Right, success and error. Let's borrow these. Put them in here. Okay, so we make a call. Let's call load cards here. So when the component loads, looks like Haskell. Yeah, that's because Elm looks like Haskell and it's based on Haskell, and Mint took a lot of the look and feel and the syntax from Elm. Although there are some big differences, like having the fun keyword and having some specific components and things like that, and the braces. But yeah, it's quite similar to Haskell. It's got that Haskell feel. Right, so we're going to load some cards from a collection. On a success, we will go and parse the response. So this is like collection page. This is collection page. And then, actually, I think I said we'd just reuse the card page. I'll probably rename that later. Collection page, set page container. So now we need to bring in some store stuff. So connect collection store exposing set page container. Okay, admin error. Let's have a collections error. I need a bit of state here. State. This will just hold the error. It's just a string. Callback. If there's a callback, we'll execute it. Otherwise, we will put out an error here. And then on error response, we'll say, oh, we couldn't parse it. And then just write some more errors, basically. Cards page 39. Cards page, yeah, collections page. Will it blend? Will it blend? Set page container. The call function is defined here. You tried to call it here. What are you saying? The function expects the failing to be collections page instead it's cards page. Did I say that? Oh, I probably did say that. I totally did say that. I totally did say that. You might try to learn some other paradigms. I only really know OOP and functional to an extent. Yeah, I started off as an OOP programmer, and then I picked up functional stuff. I do a lot of Scala in my day job, which is sort of mix and match of OO and functional. Is it happy? 23, my collection. My collection, 23. Yep, that will not work. Could not get collection. Something went wrong. Yay, it's all good. So where's my render? So after you load cards, we need to go render the collection after the HR. So we'll render the card table, pass in the cards. If there's no page content, I think we render something else. Okay, awesome. So how do we do it here? Oops. Where is my view? Oh, here's the first part. Render card table, render card, render view, top nav. Okay. Alright, where's the bit that contains the page? Render view. Where's the render view called? Aha, this is what we want. So this render basically drops into here. And then this view, we're going to drop that into render view. Which is going to look like this one. Yeah, looks good. Looks very good. Render view. My collection. And then here we will render. Oh yes, let's put the admin error thing. I guess I'll just stick it here for now. And then lastly, render card table. Is that good? Collections error. Page container 74. Page container. Page container. All good. Right, so now, as if by magic, we should see a table materialize with a list of all the cards that we own. Here we go. Da, da, da. Nothing happened. Oh my god. It didn't work. Haha, fooled you. It did work. It's just a caching issue. Okay, so these are all the cards that I own. So if I go and purchase some more cards, probably it'd be nice to have a number here, like how many I own, and then we'll do some sorting and stuff on this later on. But right now, if I go to admin, no, not admin. If I go to the shop and let's buy some epic packs. Let's buy one epic pack. There we go. I've now got some epic angels in here. So there will be like a purchase cards and then there'll be like a pack opening, but we're not doing the pack opening at the moment because this is just a prototype. So I think this is cool. So the next step is to be able to create a deck from the collection. So the idea is you just come and you buy whatever decks, whatever packs of cards you like, and then you can build yourself a deck of 30 cards. And this collection will become like a visual grid with all the cards and different filtering options. I've got screenshots of that stuff actually. Let me see if I can dig some out. So I do enjoy looking at the artwork, and there is some pretty awesome art coming up. Right, I recently switched to the latest version. I run on OS X, or Mac OS it's called now. I switched to the latest version, and it's got this like viewer, but doesn't really work as I expect. It's sort of very hard to use. Others. Okay, here we go. So first of all, this one. So that was a bit of conceptualized sort of my deck's artwork, and then the later ones, which is what I'm building right now, is here. So you'd have each of the decks, each of the cards, and you filter by theme, rarity, and any other thing you want to filter by. And then you can basically drag these over into the deck. So when you like click deck 1, this space here will turn into a place where you can drag things in and out to build the deck that you want. It's still undergoing design, but it's getting there. Alrighty. Okay, so let's do some deck building now. So I guess a user has some cards. Let's allow a user to build a deck, and maybe we'll have just a section at the top here for the decks to start with before we start doing the drag and drop stuff. I think I'll make it a separate component. So let's call it, open up components here. Let's call it decks. Oops. Oh, now you started typing crystal there. I missed the fun. I missed the fun. Fun render HTML. It was wicked. Oh yeah. We'll put a div. That's what we'll do. And in this div we'll put just that for now. That's a component. And the collection store. Yeah, we don't need anything on there. So my collection down, where should I put it? I think underneath my collection or above my collection or to the side of my collection. Yeah, to the side I think. So if this, I found this the other day, the Bootstrap grid, Bootstrap for grids. No, wrong one. Yes, here we go. Yeah, because I was like, what are all these stars? But they're just placeholders for SM or whatever. So maybe like 6 and 6, or half and half? No, maybe 4. 6 goes to there, so it could be like 4. Yeah. Okay, let's get a row. That's my row, and let's stick regex is classified as declarative language. Awesome. Render cards table. So you can go in the second one. Which way? Call MD 4 MD 6. Okay, well, let's move that around. That goes there, and then here we'll put dex. Can that work? Yes, but not that well. Yeah, better. Yeah, I think that'll do. Okay, so dex, I'm just going to make dex another table, really, I think. And to start with, you'll have a build a new deck button if there's no deck already, and then when you click it, you get to name the deck, and then you get to, I wonder if decks should be linked to guardians, or whether you can choose which guardian to play with independently of the deck. I've got to consult the game designers about that, but I think we'll start with just having decks independent of the guardian. We might change that, but we'll see. Okay, so we'll start by having a deck. If there's no decks, we'll choose a builder deck. So it's going to be, well, let's do the build first. Okay, so we need to go fetch the decks. So we will then also load any decks, and we need success and error. Here you go. Load decks. Okay, this will be a get on API decks. If it's success, I could not get decks. This is like decks error. May as well just well, that's better. Okay, decks error. Right, okay, here we go. Collections error, decks error. May as well just replace all of those. Okay. So on success, we're going to parse it. This is going to be dex page. This will be dex page. So I've got two options here. One option is I treat this as a completely separate component. And the other option is I include it in my collection. if I keep it as a separate component, it means that I can put it anywhere. But realistically, is it always just going to be used for my collection? Because every time I load it, that's good tea. It's Chinese tea. Chinese green tea. Yeah, so when I move cards in and out between the deck and the collection, I need to update the collection and the deck itself need to update. So it kind of feels like I should keep them together. I'm going to keep them together for now. So instead of doing all this loading and stuff here, I think I'll just pass the list of decks into the deck component. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I have decided. So I'll just have a property on here called decks, which will be a array of deck. It'll be an array of deck, which will be empty. And then here, this will render all the stuff here. So back on the collection store, reset the page. This page will include the deck's information. Okay, yes, that's the way I'm going to go. I have decided. Yeah. So when you create the decks here, we'll give it the cards. So again, there's two ways to do this. I could pass the list of cards into the decks component, or I could just connect a store to the that decks component, and I could put the data on the store instead. I'm going to pass it for now though. So decks is going to be page.page.decks. And at the moment, right, so let's go change around this these card things that we have. So instead of cards page, this is going to be collections page. And instead of collection page, yeah, cards page. And when we make a request, where's the request? Yeah, so let's go grab that. Right, so cards page has a page content. So I'll just borrow these two, stick them in my collection. This is now collections page. Right, page content. So this is collections page content. This is going to have to be collections page. And yes, we'll have cards, but also we'll have decks. Array of deck. And I don't know what a deck is going to have on it just yet. A deck is going to have a name for sure. And I guess the deck is always going to contain the cards for the deck, which will just be an array of card. Okay. What's this? Line 3. Oh yeah, these records have to sit outside the component. There we go. Okay, so now the collection store is saying, hey, why is this? Okay, that's good. Set page container takes a collection page. Oh, collections page. Okay, yeah, so we don't have page decks anymore. We now have, what's that, 106. We now have page collections page, I think. What did I call it? Collections page, yep. The field collection page does not exist on the record cards page. Current user cards array. So 106 decks. Oh yes, this is cards page. This needs a collections page. And this would be the same kind of thing. Oh. What's this? Render view 86. Yeah. Collections page. Right, awesome. Let's reload that. Oh, now having some issue. Suspect I just not bringing back the right data now. So let's go to the back end and just change the packs eBay collection to also return decks, and we'll make decks just be an array of, I guess, strings. Okay for that. Right, how's this? Good, very good. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. So we'll go and look at the decks separately. But for now, we need some create a deck kind of function if there's no decks. Also, maybe we'll just have a table right here that looks very like the My Collection table. So we'll borrow this and this. And we'll just put those in here. Nope, not quite there. Let's put those in here. So when you look at the deck, I wonder how can you tell. I guess we'll just have the name of the deck in a table. Yeah, so let's ditch all these other things. Render deck. Render deck. This is like the high level thing view of the deck. So really we're just going to have the name of the deck to start with. Okay, so decks, and then render deck, render decks table, render deck. And this would be decks, so it should be an array of deck. So let's just stick that there. Pass it the decks. Deck.name. This would be decks. Okay, all good. So that's decks. So now we just need to, if there's no deck available, we'll have to create a new deck as the first item. Well, I suppose you can always create a new deck. Maybe creating a new deck could do with being just above my collection. You just give it the name and then it'll just appear here. And then you would click on it and it would switch to edit mode. And then you could drag things in and out. And when you finish, you click done. I think that's the way to go. So my collection. So let's put this above it. My decks. Or create a deck. Oh, you know what? How about I put it in one of those boxes like we've got at admin panel. Generate random cards. Or create a card. Yeah, the create a card box. Where's that? Create random cards. What's this? Admin form title plus the cards. Okay, great. So you basically want this card thing. All the way down. Actually, I think the random card one might be a smaller one to take. Random card. Create random cards. Generate random decks. Okay, this looks like it. So let's have it here. Generate. Okay, so this is create a deck. And then in the body we'll have nothing for now. Deck theme. This would just be deck name. So we don't need anything else but the name, I think. I'll ditch this. So it's more like the admin one for name. More like this one. Yeah. Input deck name. On name, input deck name, enter a name, 100 autofocus. Okay. It's all good. This is going to be create button state, on click, create deck, clear button. Okay, let's create some of those placeholders then. So fun on name takes an event, HTML event, returns a promise, never void, promise never for now. Okay, fun create button state, takes an event, turns a promise. Okay. Clear button and create deck. There we go. Right, name. Let's create a state called deck name, which is a string. We don't ever really need a value in here. I really don't think so, but anyway. What's this? Oh yeah. Right. 140. Create button state. Oh yes, it's supposed to return a boolean, not a promise. Alright, let's return false. I think it's small f. Hey, what's the problem? I was expecting... Oh, right. It wants to be a get, not a fun. Oh yes. And also it doesn't really take anything. Clear button. Clear button is saying, yeah, it's a button. It should return HTML. There should be a button. that it? Where's create? No, create deck needs to be from a button. So where's the other button? Oh, here it is. Okay, great. Clear button should be HTML. It is HTML. Oh, it doesn't take an event. In fact, it can just be a get. All right. Here we go. What's this? It's unusual. What's that? Oh, it's the empty button. Fine. Clear button. Well, I guess that's a valid clear button. Left margin, do clear, clear. Do clear. Seems alright. It's just deck name. Alright. Do clear. That's good. Left margin. Yeah, left margin. Alrighty, here we go. Create, clear. Okay. Okay, so when we create a deck, we don't want it to allow you to create it with empty string. So the create button state basically is just about saying deck name should not be empty. Yeah, and as soon as I put something in it, I can't type it out. That's a bit of a fail. That's because I haven't done on name. This should be a next. Deck name is dom.get value e.target, something like that. Let's check this one. Dom get value event.target. Seems good. Right, can I type? Yeah, I can type. Okay. So this would be like the awesome deck. Clear. Awesome deck. So create would then make a call to the back end. It would create the deck, load this page back up, and we'd see the deck over here. I think that's good. Now, if your deck is huge, drag and drop is going to be a bit of a problem. So that's probably where we'll need filters on these. Or to start with, we could not do drag and drop and just say, have an action here and just say add to deck. And I guess once you've added it, it lives in the deck. So it will disappear from this view. Yeah, I think on edit deck view, when you move the cards across, they'll disappear from the left hand side. Because otherwise that'd be confusing. You want to be able to add the same cards in multiple decks. And also you wouldn't want to, or would you? Let's think about that. So deck is just a representation of your cards, so it's like a grouping of your cards, really. So I think, yeah, you should be allowed to leave it in the main collection, and if you've added it into the deck, I wonder how quantity should be defined then. Say I've got 5 of these common, say I've got 5 identical common ones like this. I guess right now there'd be 2 entries. Like, I don't have any duplicates here, I don't think. Oh yes, here's duplicate, here's one. So it's just in here twice. Here's another duplicate. Angels, common audio. So yeah, so there are some duplicates and they're just in here as separate cards. So maybe I should aggregate those up and have a quantity on the right. So these would just have the unique cards and a quantity. Have to experiment a bit with that. Okay, well, I think that's as far as I'm going to go tonight. Making good progress. My collection is now viewable, but I need to think about. Well, let's write some notes. Let's create a new one called My Collection. Big C. And here we'll have some tasks. Not what I wanted to do. Alrighty, so first of all, let's make a task list. We'll say that's too bold. Big S. Should cards in the main collections area be grouped by quantity. Should be unique with a quantity. Should cards in, these are more like questions, not tasks, aren't they? These are more questions. No. So maybe we don't want tick boxes. Maybe we just want bullets. Okay, questions. Should cards in the main collection area be unique with a quantity? Should cards... Nope. Yes, should cards in the main collections area when remain when editing deck, or should they only show cards that are not in a deck? Okay, so we need to figure out answers to those two questions. Okay, so yeah, so I'll figure out those answers and then we'll be able to progress. Okay, well that's it for me tonight. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I might try and do a longer stream tomorrow, like 9 until midnight or something, like good 3 hours to get through the rest of this this stuff. Yeah, but guessing there.